The masses, man, you now tuned in to purpose and practice. Purpose and practice. Keep your mental sharp, learn all the tactics. Dr. Ross dropping knowledge to the masses. Man, you now tuned in to purpose and practice. Purpose and practice. Podcast game, he got it mastered. Sign call.
Yo, what up, family? We are back for another episode of the Purpose and Practice podcast. I can't believe it, but we are at episode number 27. Like 27 is in the books. We making history, real talk. But before we get into introducing our guest, we had a special guest tonight. But before we do that, I always want to give a shout out to the folks who are making it happen for my show. We had if you heard the intro, Mr. Encore laid down the beat on the intro. And then we had my brother Anthony Stevens. Check out Mr. Encore, by the way, at Mr. Encore on IG if you need a beat laid down for whatever reason. And then on the video, we had my brother Anthony Stevenson. So check out A Stevenson on IG, and he could hook you up with any kind of videos that you're trying to do. I believe in we got to give back. We got to make sure that we are supporting our young people who are out as entrepreneurs, have their own businesses, making connections and making things happen. We got to keep those networks alive. So I'm always trying to find folks who can embrace and develop the show, but from homegrown like that. I always believe in that. And while I'm on that goes to the whole, when you look at the logo or the Purpose and Practice with Dr. Ross Dill, you see that there's the Sankofa bird up there, which means to go back and get it. So I'm constantly trying to think about how I can go back and bring forward, and that's what that bird is doing, is reaching back, getting the nurturing, the nutriments, the knowledge, and bringing it forward to future generations. And that's what we do. So no matter where we're at in life, those are the things that we have to be committed to, and that's what we have to do. With that said, we are live with someone who I could say I'm reaching back to bring forward real talk. Our guest tonight, I have first of all, it's family. Second of all, it's you talk about reaching back. I remember her when she was ninth grade, coming into the high school, got this look on, don't nobody talk to me, nobody mess with me. But when I tell you, she still got it. But real talk, brilliant, and never took no for an answer. Okay. Tell me if I'm wrong, Tiara. Tell me if I'm wrong. Never took no for an answer.
I don't like that word.
Nah, you ain't never take it either. Always question things. And just so you understand, I was her principal, right? So it was, we were working in that capacity, principal and student, not versus, but principal and student. And whenever a decision was made, she was the first one in the office why was this decision made? And but young leaders, if you're an educational leader out there, you're a principal out there, those students who come to you asking you why decisions are made, embrace those students. Those are the ones that you need to be all right, I need to holler at you, because they're going to be the ones that keep you on your game and making sure that you're making decisions that not only are right for staff and right for you in the building, but also right for students. And she was definitely, one of those leaders in the building, which I will always remember. So with that said, man, a special welcome to Tiara Brown, who is doing her thing. What's up, Tiara? How you feeling?
I'm feeling wonderful. I'm happy to be here. I'm honored.
It's somebody said you still don't take no for an answer.
That's my best friend. Yes.
Listen, that's real talk. But you are you're doing. I'm not surprised, right? But you're doing crazy things. When I first started this show, your sister, I believe, Tiara was either episode 3. I think she was episode 3, right? And we were talking about the Juneteenth march that y'all did out in Long Branch.
Mhm.
And I was like, yo, y'all really did y'all thing on that. You know, you putting that together, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I saw Mike Bland out there. And she was like, yo, but my sister, Tiara, was the one that put that together. I was like, what? I didn't know that, because you weren't like, well, even the pictures that I seen, you weren't like out front.
I was actually on vacation.
When it went down, but you did all the planning, then you just took a flight.
Yes. I was there in spirit though, definitely.
Yo, I was like, hold up, what? And she was like, yeah, no doubt. She's the one that put that together. So then that's when I was like, all right, you was on my radar at that point. So I was like, I gotta find a way. And then you start dropping like clothing lines, you start dropping like financial services. And I'm like, hold up, what? Yo, we gotta get her on a show. And the season was ending, and I was like, all right, she's definitely gonna be on for season number 2. And I'm just so thankful that we were able to get you on. I remember coming up, and you probably don't remember this, because I remember at first you was like, I'm going to Stanford. That was like the school. You was like, I'm messing with that school. And I started calling you Stanford, you know, and you definitely had the genius, obviously, to do that. But I'm just blessed, man, to have you here on the show. And welcome to the show. How you feeling?
Yo, thank you. I'm just so happy to share a platform with someone that I truly admire, and I just want people to hear my voice. I feel like people don't really hear me speak, so now is the time so they can hear an updated version of me. So I'm definitely excited to dive into the conversation.
Oh, updated. So we getting like a 2.0. What is this? Like 2.0 we getting?
I don't know. I done evolved maybe about 20 times.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. So listen, I like what you said though, because those updated versions of ourselves. And one of the things that I was just meeting with a group of young people yesterday, this book club, this book club is going to be fire. Those parents who set your children up to be in this book club, the young scholars, salute to you. We were talking about that though. Like we were talking about like, how do we do that whole each one teach one? How do we grow? How do we build knowledge? And that was kind of the discussion that we had last night. Talk about that before we even start getting into the history of you as a young person. Just talk about your commitment to constantly building.
I was fortunate enough to grow up in a household where I felt like opportunities were unlimited. Anything that I wanted to do, I had the support from my mother and my father and my siblings and everyone in my environment to do whatever I want. So any dream that I had, I was able to execute it. So as I'm moving forward in life, I was seeing that a lot of people, something was holding them back, and they never had a reason why. Like, for instance, if someone tell me, I want to go do this, I'm like, go do it, and then they'll give me multiple reasons, and I'm not that person. I'm like, either you're going to do it or you're not. Anyone would tell you, I'm really about what I say I'm about. And I feel like since my cup is overfilled, it's only right to give back, because in this moment, even right now, I have everything that I will ever need in life. So anything else is a bonus. So the knowledge that I give is only for you guys, and I just want to share that.
So, all right, you like how? Okay. How do you like? Listen, I know. Listen, I've been under 30, right? I've been under 30 before. I wasn't talking like that. So, real talk. Here's my question, right? How do you grow to that statement you just gave? And it's almost like you just talking like, this is bigger than me. I'm a vessel, and I'm gonna share my experiences to help other folks grow. Like, how did you just, and definitely shout out to the family, because family's important. But how does that happen though? Like, were you sitting here like right now talking like you talking?
So being that I was very intelligent, I've never questioned whether I will be successful or not. So I was never in a rush to obtain a job or certain things. So leaving high school, entering college, I made it my goal to know myself, to get to know myself. And I was thankful enough to have a mother where I can walk in her house however. So in
Okay.
those moments, I'm exploring who I am, the good, the bad, the ugly,
Yeah.
and I can look at myself in the mirror every day, and I'm not afraid of those dark moments. So I feel like when you're not afraid of yourself, you can't be afraid of the world. So there's nothing
Mm.
in this world that I can't do or accomplish, because ultimately my mind is my weapon, and it's gonna, push me to where
Wow.
I need to go.
Yo, I love that. And shout out to your mom, man. Like, and we grew up together. First and foremost, Erica and TT, we all grew up together. And I just remember, like, you know, when y'all were coming up
Mhm.
and we connected on, me being a principal and then Tiara at the time, and then you came along, and then that was all that I seen. But then your younger brother, behind the scenes, we'd be working things out and everything, talk about how we need to deal with school systems and this, that, and the other. And one of the things that you said really, like, I can see how it happened. You said, yo, I was able to come to my mom anyway, any form of fashion. I was able to come to my parents, and they
Mhm.
embraced me for wherever I was at. That's so powerful. And to parents out there, those words right there are words that we have to really, really, really take account for, because sometimes, we look for these cookie cutters, like these perfect worlds where, like everything is perfect. And life is not like that, and I'm happy that you mentioned that you felt comfortable in your own before you went into the world. You were
Mhm.
like good with who you were, and
Absolutely.
whatever time things were going to happen, it was the right time.
Exactly. And
Yo.
I grew up on love. My house is a loving environment. So even if I'm out of line, when I fall back in line, I'm falling back into love. And love is always going
Mm.
to be what moves me. So
I love that, man. So we starting in love. It's all love.
all love.
So, and that's what our family needs to be, and our support systems, that's what they need to be.
Mhm.
And going back to relationships, when we talk about school and relationships, when young people know that the people in the school love them,
Mhm.
it's a game changer.
Mhm.
I'm seeing Miss Glansberg get into the comments, and
Glance, what's up?
yeah, shout out to Miss Glansberg. But yo, when it's love there, it changes everything, yo. So and shout out to you for making sure that you're coming to share this story. So with that said, I want to go back, like, because I didn't start working with you until you were in high school, right? So I want to learn more about the middle school version, the elementary school version, what it was like growing up, what kind of student you were. If you could talk about those things, and then we can start moving into what you're doing now.
So I think I want to touch as far back as preschool. I remember I was 5 years old, and 4 years old, because I started at JFK, the
Okay.
pre-K. So I'm getting into my classroom, and I'm four. Remind you, I'm four. And I walk into the classroom, and the teacher's like, "Hello, Miss Brown." So I go home to my mom. I'm like, "Why is she calling me Miss Brown? I'm a child." So at
Mm,
4 years old, I am able to connect with
already.
that adult mind.
Yeah.
So we had assignments writing our names, and I'm like, Tiara. Like, I know how to spell my name. Like, I'm, like, this is so. With that being said, I painted that illustration to show you that I was a student where I always understood everything too quickly, so I was bored.
Mhm.
I was so
Wow.
bored
Wow.
as a student. So think
Wow.
about it. I know how to spell my name, and I have to wait until my classmate.
Everyone else knows. Yeah.
Yeah. So I start to wander. I start to do other things, and that's how my whole career went. And as I got older, teachers didn't really like that. That's why everyone knows Tiara Brown in the hallway. All the monitors in the high school, Tiara Brown's in the hallway. And it's not because I'm just a rebel. I just want to do whatever I want, but I did my work, and now I'm bored.
Mm, mm.
And I can't just sit idle. My mind is too active for that.
Yo, so listen, this is the first time we went back to pre-K on this
Yeah.
show. Like, usually folks go back like, oh, I was in first grade, second grade. You went back to pre, and but just so you know, in most cases, you are a teacher's nightmare. And
I know.
yo, real talk,
I know.
a night, and in most cases, a principal's nightmare,
Mhm.
because if you're not comfortable enough as a teacher or a leader to embrace the young lady who you are and the intelligence that you have,
Mhm.
you can be intimidated,
Mhm.
which I'm sure you have stories about
Yeah.
that.
I would I won't share the principal, but when I was in high school, yeah, it was just a time period where I believe like the lunch sessions were just out of control and they
Mhm.
weren't handling it properly. I'm like, why are you doing this? So me and the principal, we weren't seeing eye to eye and we kept having friction. So I think I was very frustrated one day and I told him in this voice, very, very calm, in a very calm manner. I said, I don't know. I think the board needs to reevaluate their staff and their principals because it's not seeming that things are getting done in here. And I didn't
Wow.
say that to be disrespectful, but it's like you're not calming the situation down. Why are there fights every other week?
Wow. And you had those words.
Yes.
And see, but in that, I'm not even, we ain't gonna go into what the response was or anything like that. But here's what I'm gonna say, right? Again, one of the things that I always look forward to was, even on the worst of days, was having conversations with young people and finding out what was what and why what was what.
Mhm.
Because if you're trying to lead a school
Mhm.
and you're not in tune with the leaders of the school,
Mhm.
then you're gonna have problems, and you were one of those students who quickly I was able to identify in your class. You were a leader formally and informally. You were doing things academically that you needed to do. You were socially together. Like you had the pieces, put together, and there needed to be a forum to hear your voice.
Mhm.
So with that said, how did you said I attacked it, I not attacked it. I won't even use that term, attack. I addressed it in a calm manner. Did
Mhm.
you always move like that? Or did you have to learn to kind of like, all right, how am I going to navigate and make this, like something that it's the medicine, but I'm putting it in the pudding and I'm making it easy for them to swallow?
I it definitely had to be learned, and I made sure I learned it because I experienced a situation where my words hurt someone I love very
Mm,
badly, and that broke my heart. Like it really tore me into pieces. So with that moving forward, I just made sure that I'm careful of what I say, how I deliver it, and if I'm feeling some type of way, maybe take a breather, take a couple days. But it
mm.
definitely was a skill that was learned over time.
I'm glad you said that, because and that's why I touched on that, because there's like, when you gain knowledge, and this is something even going into next week with our book club, I'm going to be talking to the young people about, because I'm like, you're going to be learning in this book club, but I taught them something about Black history that they didn't know as of yesterday, right? So chances are they're going to go into their teacher and they're going to start trying to tell their teacher, you didn't know this, you didn't know that.
Mhm.
And I'm like, part of knowledge and having knowledge is to make sure that we don't become like these abrupt, like folks, like, you don't know this, you don't know that, like you got to learn how to like appreciate the power that you have in terms of
It's
knowledge.
it's definitely a responsibility, and I'm still learning how to cope with being holding a lot of wisdom and being
Mm,
intelligent because it's a time and a place. Sometimes I may know something, but in that present moment, it's not for me to say. So it's just
mm.
I'm still learning. I'm getting better at it when to speak. Because I usually stay in the background for that reason. But I feel like now I don't know 2020 and 2021. It's like all right, now you need to come forward and speak. Like they
Yeah.
need to hear what you have to say now. So now I
Yeah.
feel like it's my time to share what I have. My journey.
And speak that truth. Shout
Exactly.
out Mr. Morrison up in here. He said he had you too early. Like you taught him, you schooled him. And we all had them, Mr.
What,
Morrison.
ninth grade? I think ninth and 10th grade.
But he's basically saying what I said. I
Yeah.
remember having, and we all have this student, right? Mine was Precious. Shout out to Precious McClendon, who I love to death. Precious was the student I had my first year who schooled me. And it's like I don't know. It's a part of being a teacher, a first year teacher, second year teacher. You're going to get schooled at some point. And when Precious schooled me, I was like, yo, she got that off. And I didn't think like I'm going back at her. I'm the teacher, blah, blah, blah. Yo, word is bond. I changed my whole, I was like, yo, I just learned a lesson. I learned a lesson and I took it for what it was worth and I moved on. And to this day, whenever I see Precious, it's a big hug and a big smile because of that knowledge. So one thing I want to say for parents, I want to just take a couple minutes for parents. And if you can help out with this. Sometimes we say that young people need to be seen and not heard. Right? So would you say growing up, you were taught to be seen or not heard, or were you taught to voice your opinion and to speak your truth?
I spent a lot of time with my mother growing up, so I just watched her, and my mother does not play. So I seen her speak her voice, so naturally I picked up on that. And I just always had people who supported me and defended me, so I knew how to advocate for myself very early.
Okay. All right. I like that because that's usually how we learn is by examples that are set. And a lot of times, parents, especially in certain systems and situations, we're afraid to speak up and we're afraid, to move, especially in schools. Schools can be very intimidating for parents. That's straight up. And I think that when young people can see their parents navigate through school systems, it starts to change the game in terms of them saying, yo, I'm gonna speak up for my rights, though. This is not right. I can address this. I can speak up against this. So that I wanted to touch on that because I think when I grew up, it was like, yo, be seen, not heard. And like we was taking losses.
No. And, over time, I just thought that, since I had this mindset, it's important that I hear my own voice. I don't care if anyone is listening, but in my head, I have something to say. So whether you're listening to me or not, I just have to deliver the message. Whether you receive it is not up to me. But as long as I can get out what's in my head, I'm cool.
I like that. Hear your own voice. So here's what I want to go back. You're in high school. We talked a little bit about your high school experience. It sounds as if I don't want to speak before you, for you rather, but did you feel challenged in high school? I know you talked about pre-K, you were waiting around. Did you feel like, when did you feel in your educational career that you were challenged?
I still need to take the CPA. I was not challenged in high school academically, but I was challenged by, I would say, some adults. That's what I had issues with. But as far as the curriculum, no.
Just wasn't, it was easy.
And it's crazy because I remember I had biology, honors biology, and it was the first year they introduced the bio test. And me, I'm like, we got to take another test, whatever. They're like, you got advanced proficient. I'm like, I didn't even try I didn't try. So that's the thing. I didn't have to try too much to understand the curriculum.
You had perfect scores.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm gonna say it because it may not come up, but I'm saying it. You had perfect scores on standardized assessments.
Yes.
So all right, you leave Long Branch High School, right? Well, let's talk about socially. What was high school like for you socially? Like friends, like what was that experience like for you?
So my sister, I would say, is the social one. I was actually very a loner in high school. You might have seen me with maybe one or two people, but I rolled by myself, and I've had friends, but I'm not that cliquey person. So, I was very social and always, involved with my friends and stuff. But that environment, I never resonated with it. Like being in a group of people, being around that was never me. So I was definitely more so, I would say, call myself a loner in high school.
Okay. All right. So you leave high school. And one thing that I do know
Mhm.
And it's funny because I remember these relationships more than your peer-to-peer relationships.
Mhm.
You did have great relationships with adults in high school.
Oh, definitely.
You had great relationships with teachers,
Mhm.
with educators who worked in the school district. Speak on that. Like, why was that important for you and you coming up?
It was important for me because, as I said, my mind was more advanced than my peers growing up. So I needed
Mhm.
that connection. I needed to nurture that part of my brain. Like I can't
Okay.
just wait until everyone catches up. Like I need someone to talk to. I need someone to actually understood. And thankfully I had teachers like Struble, Miss Massey,
Mm.
Morrison.
Wow.
They seen me. You know what I mean? They see me. So they know what I needed. Like Massey and I, one of my favorite teachers of the board, like I'll walk into the classroom. We were so connected that she'd be like, you need to get out my classroom. Like, I'm not feeling this. And then I'll come back and she's like, oh, okay, you know? So, and the funny thing with Miss Massey is this was senior year and we were all joking, like, we're not going to do our work. So she failed us. And it was just funny. The last semester she failed us and we were all laughing about it because I had like over a 4.0. So it's just,
It was like, it was whatever.
yeah.
Yo, those names you just mentioned, you said Struble. Wow. I remember, like, that's just bringing about flashbacks to me. Morrison, obviously. Then you met Massey. Like, those are like,
And there's
those
that
some,
a
yeah.
math teacher. I'm so sorry I forgot her name, but she was definitely very significant in my career.
Was it earlier in high school or was it later in high school?
Later, I want to say 11th grade math teacher.
It wasn't Miss Youssef, was it?
Yes,
Okay.
Youssef. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because yeah, Youssef is one of those teachers, you know, and shout out to her. Brilliant math teacher, who students usually don't come to appreciate until they're maybe juniors or seniors.
Mhm.
But she was the real, yeah, she was definitely the real deal. I had, who's that?
Miss Carpenter.
Yes. She's another one like that has put in so much time. Yo, Miss Carpenter we taught together. So definitely shout out to her, you know, and I'm happy that we had this time because it brings me back to a time in Long Branch, you know, where I was there and it was just like, yo, it was just this great place. And one of the things that we did in Long Branch, you know, when I was there at the high school is that we provided students voice.
Mhm.
You know, and that was, we ain't shut things down. That was one of the things that even from a leadership standpoint, you know, you go back, you look, Mr. Freeman, who was a principal at the time, you know, we always had a door open for students.
Mhm.
And to listen to students, you know, and students like yourself, we learned a lot from in terms of what we can do to make schools better and to make schools work for you all. So that's why I wanted to spend some time, you know, just talking about that and vibing about that. So you leave the high school,
Mhm.
and what are the next 4 to 5 years like? Like, you know, would you end up going off to school? What is it like? Talk to us about
So,
that.
actually, initially, I wanted to go to school in California. I thought I was going to UCLA. However, I know you guys are well aware of my SAT situation where my scores weren't released because they increased too much. So I missed
Talk
the.
about that though, because everyone doesn't know about that.
Okay, so
Because talk about that, if you don't mind.
okay, so in high school, it was mandatory for us to take these tests. And for some reason, when people tell me to do things, I just don't want to do them. So I'm just like, whatever, I didn't care. But when I realized I actually needed a good score to go to college, I'm like, okay, let me do this. So I want to say my score went from, I want to say 1600 around, was it 1800 to like 2100. And they were like, this is impossible. How did you do this? We're not releasing your scores. And what the funniest thing is, my best friend was working there at this time. I'm like, please release my scores. I need to go to this school. But it just was never released. And I ended up going to Pace University in Manhattan.
I remember that. And it's so wild, man, because two things. One, your motivation.
Mhm.
So it was like you didn't take it serious at first. And then
No.
when you realize, all right, this is attached to X, Y, and Z, I need
Mhm.
to sit and I need to take it serious.
Mhm.
Um, Did you, when that happened,
Mhm.
was there ever a part of you that was like, yo, I should have just took that serious from gate? Like I should have just, did that hit you, or was it just like, it's whatever, I'm going to pace, this is what time it is?
I've always been someone who believed that I'm always where I need to be and
Mhm.
everything happens the way it needs to. So it wasn't meant for those scores to get released. It wasn't meant for me to go to that school. I was meant to go to Pace and finish my career there.
True. I like that
My
answer.
mom and when I actually got denied from NYU due to the scores, and my mom said, "You know what? You have 5 minutes to be mad." I took about 10 though, and the next day I was cool. I'm like, "All right, we're going to the city."
It was, yeah, that's what, once again, mom is like giving you those jewels of like, listen, you got 5 minutes, get over it. You took 10, it's whatever. But that was like, I remember when I heard that, and by then I was out of the high school.
Mhm.
But I remember hearing that, and it crushed me.
Mhm.
Because I knew, because I'm like, yo, just look at her record. Like, yo, this is what she does to these
My
tests.
resume lit. Come on. Come on.
So like, why are we having this conversation? Like, yo, this is,
And
so go ahead.
sorry, not to cut you off, but I can bring that forward to you. This is recently, 2020, during the pandemic. I was at a job, and during the interview, the interviewer, she asked me, was my degree real? She asked me if my degree was real, and I looked at her like, I'll show you it's
Hold up.
real.
What?
Yes. Yes. She asked me if my degree was real.
That's
And
wild.
that's why, when I have a straight face or people think that I'm mean, it's not that. It's like I have to be focused because there are people like this who are attacking me from the outside. So it's not that I don't want to speak or I can't crack a smile, but I have to be focused.
Yo, it's funny that you say that, because
Stop.
that was one of the reasons why I was like, yo, man, I'm trying to, like, I need the highest degree that I can get. I need to get, because people aren't going to believe.
Mhm.
And I need people to know, you know what I'm saying? So when you said that, that resonates. And even your level of seriousness.
Mhm.
There's been times where it's been said, like, you don't smile.
Mhm.
And it's because it's like, yo, it's nothing to smile about. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, yo, it's business. It's things that we need to accomplish. It's people who aren't being taken serious.
Exactly.
So that's crazy to have that kind of experience where someone's questioning your credential.
And I know who I am, so I ate that, right? So I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'll show you that my degree is real. I went into that company. They had one staff member. I'm an accountant, for those who don't know. They had one staff member. I trained myself, and I updated their books. I was hand in hand with the CEO, the CEO and the CFO. So it's like, is my degree real or not? Because I'm doing things that should have been done. I shouldn't come to a company and your books is 2, 3 months, 4 months behind. And that's what I was doing. They're like, how did you? Because my degree is real. That's how.
Word. And before the degree, you was real. Like, what you would, the energy you was coming with. But let's talk. I want to stay here for a second, because a lot of times we hide our light and we don't shine through because we're afraid, we're going to make someone feel uncomfortable. We're afraid, like, oh man, I want them to like me. I don't want them to feel intimidated. I go into a new job. I don't want to become too brilliant, because then they're going to be like, oh, she got to go. He got to go. Have you ever battled with that? With like, okay, should I tone down a little bit? Like, talk to us about that.
I'm never toning down for anyone. I love what I do. I love accounting and I love my work. So I'm gonna go with my best skill. I cannot do a disservice for myself for someone else to feel better, because that's not fair to me. So I'm never turning down. I'm gonna turn up every time.
All right,
Every,
listen.
every time.
Listen to the heads out there who need to hear that,
Every time.
because it's real. And I'm not saying it's right,
Mhm.
but a lot of times we get into spaces, especially as folks who are not used to being in spaces of influence in space, having that seat at the table. And sometimes you can be like, yo, I don't want to intimidate nobody in here. Should I tone it down a little bit? And, you know, like, but I like hearing your answer because I feel the same way. Like I'm taking no L's out here. Like I'm not taking L's, but there's some folks out there that are like, I want to keep this job. I don't want to piss anybody off. I don't want anyone to be upset with me. So I'm just going to play along with the company line. And you wasn't having that.
Oh no. Oh no. Because one of my coworkers, she told my sister, she was like, your sister just lives like every day is a self-care day. And it is. It is, self-love. Like people know me. I'm doing the most to nurture my spirit. So I have to do what I need to do. I can't worry about what people want me to do. I can't be who you need me to be because how am I going to grow?
Listen, that's the kind of energy we all need. And that's the kind of waking up every morning. That's the energy that I need to feed myself, and I need people out there to know that this is self work. Like you got to work on yourself. This is not magical. This is not like, right? It's real work.
And I'm very honest in my house. I'm very vocal about, like, I'll tell my mom, please don't talk to me today because my energy is just not great. My energy is just not great. And Tiara's like, what is wrong with you? I'm just like, I just need my space. But it's that awareness that I need to recharge. It's that awareness that, all right, maybe I'm a little imbalanced and I'm able to, do my practices to re-up. And then, I'm back on the field.
And that's, and we're going to talk, I want to talk a little bit about those practices, right? But because that's what I call, like, I got to get my mind right. Like I got to get, even before this show, like it's a certain playlist, there's music I want to listen to, there's a vibe I want, right? So I'm real interested in hearing how you get like your mind right. Like what are some of the things, and I was checking your Twitter this week, you were talking about fasting, like you would like talk to us a little bit, if you don't mind, about some of the things that get you in the zone and get your mind right.
So I do a lot. I'm very mindful of my energy and the way it's displayed in the world and the way it feels, because when I go out into the world, although my face may look different, you're going to still feel warmth. Everyone you probably speak to can say, I felt the light when I was near Tiara. So for me, a spiritual practice of mine, I journal a lot. I voice memo a lot. I like to travel to just meditate my mind. I feel like when I'm in the air, it's like I'm being lifted. So when I'm on that plane, it just gives my mind time to let go of all control and really just surrender to the moment. So I really just try to be present in my moment all the time. And, I wake up in the morning, I blast some, tunes. My mom hates it, but that's how I wake up. Like, they're like, why do you have so much energy? I'm like, we got to get it going. We have to go. Because you set the tone for the day. Now I'm going to have a great day because I said I was going to have a great day.
I love that. Like, because folks need to know that, like, we need to know what people do to get their mind right. And I think that it's important, for us to share those stories of like, how do I get into this zone, to produce this greatness, because that's what you're producing. And in order, that doesn't happen greatness doesn't happen by accident.
No.
Which is leading me now. You go to Pace, you're doing your thing as an accountant, right? How do you transition to like these multiple businesses? Like I'm checking you out, and I'm like, which I'm gonna start dropping them here in the stream. But like the things that you're doing, like let's start, if you don't mind. Well, you tell a story of like how you start thinking about these multiple streams of influence and multiple streams of income. Like how does that come about?
So, throughout my life, whether I wanted to admit it or not, I've always saw that I was an influence to others. People were always looking at me, watching me, and I didn't understand why. But when I understood why, I'm like, okay, there's something about you that they need to see. So that's why it's very important for me to walk out of the house with that good energy, because I need to transfer that. So yeah.
So tell it. All right.
And,
So
sorry, the businesses. I'm sorry.
yes, I want to hear about, because I feel like that transference of energy
Yeah.
is it's coming through the different businesses and the
Yes.
different ventures that
Yes.
you're on, right? So talk to us about like how those things came about.
So, we all know energy can't be created or destroyed, only
True.
transformed. So when I'm designing Earth is Ghetto, I'm very frustrated with the world because we inhabit such a beautiful place. We have the trees, we have our family, we have this loving entity, but there is so much savagery on this planet. And it's like, that's why I said Earth is Ghetto. But if you see my logo, you have the crown. The world is mine. It's going to be very, the world is mine. So it's ghetto. However, I'm still going to give you that earthly loving energy. And that's how it came about. And I didn't even have a plan. I woke up one day, I was on an app. I'm like, can you design this for me? And I got it done. I didn't even tell anyone in my house what I was doing. I came downstairs one day, like, I'm about to drop a clothing line. Can y'all repost? And my mom was like, what do you mean? I'm like, I have to get this done. I need to package. I need to do this. So, and that's how I move in life. I don't make decisions with anybody at all.
And you're not waiting for any type of approval.
No. When I say I'm focused, I'm so focused. So this plan that I have, this has been in the works for years. Yeah. I have one goal, and I'm inching to that even closer. And when it comes to my financial services, I'm a great accountant. And I realized I was a great accountant when I was into these work environments, and they're giving me this work, and it was senior level. I'm fresh out of high school, and I got a job as an accountant manager. Fresh out of high school.
Wow.
I'm sorry, fresh out of college. Fresh out of college, I had a job as an accountant manager. And that was one of my first accountant jobs. One of my first. First.
Hold on. So what realization did you come to at that point?
At that point, I came to that I create my reality. I create my reality. Anything that I think is going to manifest, I just have to provide myself with the opportunity to do so. And I'm like, all right. And I love fashion too. And I think that this is a way to show the more edgier side of me, because if you see me out, I usually have on like a dress and heels. I'm very classy, very fancy. But this is like, all right, I can be a princess, but I hear y'all, I see y'all, I'm with y'all. So it's like, all right, stay ghetto. Do what we need to do.
Just stay ghetto. Like the stay ghetto. I love. And what I love, and one part that I love about that is that when you grew up, like you grew up in the hood, the way we grew up.
And I'm sorry, I don't even want to cut you off, but people do not believe that I grew up in the hood. That's what I wanted to get to though, because why not? Well, all right. So we never lived in the hood. However, my grandmother, my relative, my father, he's from the hood. So it's like we understood the hood. However, we were removed from that environment. So I'm happy we brought this up, because I had issues growing up because people would tell me, you're not hood enough. You're not black enough. And I'm like, all right, now what's really going on in the world? Because when I go left, I'm not black enough. But when I go right, I'm too black. So I found myself in these indecisive, it's like, where do I go? So that's why when I say I create my own reality, is because I don't fit into these spaces. I have to create my own space.
That's genius. And that's why I wanted to go there. Because so many of us struggle with what you just said. It's like, am I hood enough, or am I black enough? Or, what I'm saying? Like that, those are real struggles.
Yeah,
right? That real talk. Like those are the struggles that we have. But then in the same token, what I love about the logo, and you brilliantly explained it, is like, all right, is Earth is Ghetto.
Mhm.
But at the same time, there's all of this love language
Mhm.
that resides there and that lives there. And
Mhm.
there's so much nurturement that
Mhm.
lives there. And there's so much support that
Mhm.
lives there. So it's like this love relationship, this sometimes love hate relationship that we
Yes.
can have, right? Yo,
Yes.
it shout out to Miss Crystal, who just dropped in, who was one
What's
of
up,
me
Auntie?
growing up. Yeah, me growing up, one of those elders who always kept an eye out on us. So talk, if you could talk a little bit about that, where, and people from the outside, they don't always understand that. Like they just see it, they can see it as all bad,
Mhm.
or they can see it as all fad. Like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm hood, I'm ghetto. But
Yes.
they don't see those intricacies that you just explained. Like, can you just talk a little bit about how that, just that, like, what that feels like to be, in those worlds, of seeing the beauty,
Mhm.
the beauty in a struggle of
Mhm.
of living in these certain situations.
Mhm. Um, it feels very magical to see beauty through chaos, to see
Mm.
beauty through the struggle, to see the light through the dark. It's a very magical and transformative experience for me because now that I know, what can I do? If I
Yes.
can see in the dark, what can I do? And
Yes.
that's how I move forward. And I'm not afraid of the dark. Like I said, I can look myself in the mirror. I'm not as scared of my demons. They probably scared of me at this point. And like, if we're being honest, because that's just how I have to live my life. I have to live in love because that's my vibration, that's my spirit, that's my energy. So if I'm not loving, I'm not me. And if I'm not me, I can't serve the world the way I need to.
Yo, that's serious, serious stuff. Um, you've been saying a lot. Like I'm blown away.
Gems was coming. I told you.
Yo, you
I
you
told you.
you ready? You did. You told me you were fasting. Like, listen, I'm seeing it now. I'm a witness. I'm a witness. Like, but all right. Here's what I want. Here's if you can break this down.
Okay.
What's like a day in the life of you? Like tell us a little bit about, because and I know that may sound like, to some people that may sound a silly question,
Yeah.
but I always, when I'm listening to people who I think are very inspirational, genius, I'm like, yo, I want to know about what they do, what their day is like.
Mm-hmm.
If you can share a little bit about what your day is like, I think that can help, especially young folks and some of us adults.
Mm-hmm.
It can help us understand the kind of process and what you go through
Um,
daily.
a typical day, a regular day for me is I usually try to start my routine. I wake up, I blast my music in the morning, but the first thing I do is if if it's the summertime, I want to do my summer playlist because this is summer is my me. So I'm riding on the beach. I'm listening to a playlist. I'm setting the tone. I'm setting my energy for the day, and I'm super focused. And after that, I come back home and I tackle whatever needs to be done that day. I
Okay.
try to get done. I try to get my day done very fast. I mean, not very fast, but I like to enjoy my day. So I'm not spending an entire day working. My mornings
Mm,
are typically spent working, but I like to cater to my spirit. I like to journal. I like to, relax. So usually from when I'm balanced, I'm waking up 6, 7 a.m. I'm going to the beach. I'm coming back. I'm journaling. I'm writing. Moving closer to my goals, if that helps. I don't really
oh,
know. Yeah, if that
but
helps.
see, I need, and I know to you because you just live in it.
Yeah, I'm like, I
But
don't know. I just like,
it's like, yo, why is it?
oh
But
no, I don't know how to answer that.
no, but you did answer it, because you talked about when I'm balanced.
Mhm.
So I think sometimes we have a problem with admitting imperfection. Like we have this, like sometimes we want to create this aura of like we're always in balance. You know
No.
what I'm saying? So I like that how you even started off like, well, when I'm in balance, these are the things that I do.
I'm very vocal about the space I am. I may not go into detail However, you will be well aware. Like I tell my sister, she does, like sometimes she'll be like, what are you talking about? I'm like, take care. I am going through something. I will get through it. I will be back. And she'll be like, all right, whatever. And then she'll see like, okay, I knew what you was talking about. But like I said, I give myself those moments to get back in balance.
And that's what I like. And you talked about things that you do, because one of the things, that I'm working with, whether it, like I talked about the book club I have, I'm trying to start working with more young men, is routines, how to recognize when you are in balance, when you're not in balance, what you can do to refocus yourself. Because let's face it, what life is all about is about having a plan, that plan being disrupted, and then having to refocus, and then begin anew. Like if you want to break down life, like that's it, right? So what I like to kind of give folks is like, okay, when you get lost in GPS and it's like, all right, we got to recalculate, we got to recalibrate. How do we get to those moments of recalibration and recalculation? Because you talked about even the SAT thing that took, like, you had to recalibrate and recalculate at that point. Right. So that's why I like hearing these stories of like, what do you do to do that, to overcome an obstacle like that? What is it that, that you do?
I think the first thing you have to do is accept it. You have to accept what's in front of you. And when you do that, you're able to move accordingly. Like I don't spend too much time dwelling on the problem. I'm more solution oriented. So I focus on what I can control. If it's out of my control, then I have to surrender. But if I can control it, then I have nothing to worry about. And I'm not the type of I don't like worry. Worry is that energy. I can't. My spirit don't like it. So I try not to worry.
Yes. Yes. Listen, those are things, because those are things like, if I ever had a chance to interview Kanye West, if I had to, like, I would want to know, like, yo, what's your day like? Like sometimes we don't ask those questions. So like, well, what do you do on a typical day?
I really couldn't answer because my days are never the same. Like never. Even if I plan it out, my day never really goes like, I don't know. That's why I'm just, like I said, I try to stay present in the moment to adapt to what's in front of me.
I love it. I love it. I'm inspired. Like, I'm truly, I don't want to use the term proud. I'd rather use the word inspired. Like the work that you're doing, what you're doing. When I got my hoodie, I left it on my bed for a couple of days. I left it on my nightstand for a couple of days because I'm like, yo, the packaging. Like, I'm just like, yo, I want to leave it in. I didn't take it out of the packaging today, right? So, because I'm like, yo, the packaging, it's just like this beautiful packaging. And then I open it today and I dig into it, and it's like, it's a card with my name on it. And I'm like, hold up. Like, I'm feeling like this whole experience, and I haven't even put the hoodie on. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk to us about that. Like, what was that, a whole vision that you had, like this experience with the hoodie or with your clothing line, period?
I just felt like, I don't know, something in me, like when I tell you, when I'm focused, when I'm in the zone, my mind is just laser. So for me, it's like, all right, I can't just, how can I stand out? So that's why my hoodie, it's a black bag. It's very rare that stuff are coming in black bags with white writing on it. And personal messages, it just, for me, I'm a very intimate person. So it just shows my customers, like, I actually care about your service and your business. Thank you for shopping with me. Like, I'm going to take time out my day to actually handwrite this note because I care about you. Like, for me, if anyone who knows me is like, I don't care about money. It's not for the money. It's just to earth is ghetto. Like, let's just stay ghetto together, just let's be unified. So that's for me what it was. I wanted some people to, when they got the earth is ghetto, to be like, nah, this really is ghetto, but it's still beautiful, like with the beautiful package.
I was feeling special because I was like, hold on. Because for a minute, and let's be honest, this is what leadership is about. this is what love is about, right? Is about making someone feel
Yes.
like they are the only person. That's the only person that exists right now. When
Yes.
I opened this package, and I didn't open it until tonight to put this hoodie on,
You got
right?
it like a month ago.
Yeah, I got it a month ago. I kept it. I was like, yo, because I wanted it to be this special occasion. This was your night. This was the episode, the Earth is Ghetto episode, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, I opened it up. Then I see this envelope, and I'm like, I don't even want to open the envelope. I'm like, yo, and then I open it, and it's like, it's not just like a regular, postcard. It's Dr. Rawls, which is handwritten on it, right? In green, okay, marker. And
Green
at that point,
abundance.
yes, see, like it's all like I'm like, yo, green is abundance. I'm feeling like, yo, I'm on top of the world. In the back of my head, my ego is like, you're the only one she did that for. Yo, that abundance, but I did feel, real talk. Mm-hmm. I felt on top of the world when I opened this hoodie and I saw that envelope and I saw my name on it in green. I said, yo, it's all about me. When I put this hoodie on, it's magic.
And that's what I want people to feel, because you see the logo, it's like the crown. And, I think it's just everything comes full circle. My name is Tiara. That is the simulation of the crown.
Yes.
So it's like the world is mine, and you cannot tell me it's not. This world is my turf. So I'm able to explore as freely as I want, and that's why I said it's ghetto, but it's beautiful because I'm going to be the beauty in this ghetto-ness.
That's what's up. Yo, Tiara, you just blessed us. Like, first of all, I got to get everybody. My daughter was already asking for one. The hoodie. Yeah, she went I don't know if she went the pink one. She'll have to look because she was like, what colors are they? And I was like, well, it's this orange, but I love that stuck out to me. I said, there's this black. That's the one I saw Eazy-E rocking. I was like, yo, like that one was hot. And then I seen you just drop what do you call it? A new color.
Yes.
And that one, but I didn't even know about that. I don't remember seeing the pink, but she's probably gonna want the pink.
Yeah.
So y'all checking it out. Check out Earth is Ghetto. Get these hoodies. I want to get a Scully next. I didn't even get a Scully. I gotta get a Scully to go with it. Yo, this has been so inspirational. And that's real talk. Real talk. I want to talk about, but I don't want to end before we talk about this. Mm-hmm. I started the show talking about you were going. Well, first of all, I thought Tiara was, the organizer with the Juneteenth, mm-hmm. And we're going back now, to probably maybe June. I think when the march in June.
Yes, it was on Juneteenth.
Yes, it was actually on Juneteenth.
Yes.
Talk to us, if you don't mind. Talk to us about the Juneteenth Coalition, mm-hmm. And how that came about, mm-hmm. and then also how it's going to move forward.
So, as I mentioned before, I'm a very solution-oriented person, and the night prior of the protest, I was I was anxious. I was feeling weird, and I didn't know I was going. I didn't know I was going to the protest actually, mm-hmm. until I was on my way there. And when I got there was just something inside of me that said, I want to get out. So that's when I just walked to the front of the line, and I'm like, I'm just screaming at that point. And I don't even know if people realize, but towards the end of the protest, I actually got really sick. Like I had to wow. turn off the block. Like I almost passed out, because whatever was inside of me, it got out. And my ancestors were definitely proud.
Wow.
And so just moving forward from there, it's like, yes, we marched, but what are we going to do? And after that, I held a meeting with a couple. I put it on social media. I'm like, listen, I'll be here. Let's have a dialogue, because the system that we're preaching about, it's my favorite thing. Y'all want to fight this mm-hmm. system? I'm the perfect person to fight it with. And mm-hmm. you see me on the front line. So when I held my meeting, I was just seeing what everyone was about. And I'm like, y'all don't think freedom really exists. Y'all don't think that we can actually love and be free and be unbothered and live the life that we need to. So when I was thinking of the Juneteenth walk, I'm just want everyone to know, like, we're not free until we all are free. And I have my degrees. I have the financial freedom that I need, and I have all these things. But until my peers are free, until my friends and my family are able to experience the things I'm able to experience, it doesn't matter to me.
Wow.
It doesn't matter to me at all. Like the career, the money, none of that. If I can't love, I can't be in a loving environment with my people, it doesn't matter to me. So that's why we're gonna march for our freedom. I'm gonna show you, like, this is possible. We don't have to fight forever. Our ancestors did that. Now it's time to walk. We're free. And that was a celebration of that. Yeah.
Yo, that's heavy. I love that. And that's the whole spirit of Harriet Tubman. Is like, yo, until all of us is free, none of us are free. Because sometimes when we accomplish certain things in life, we can get this false notion of I made it, quote unquote. And we can run with that. Of like, yo, I made it. And we can start looking down on those who haven't received or accomplished these false notions of success. And that's what I love most about what you just said, is that, like, yo, if everybody ain't free, none of us are free.
Because how can I enjoy it? How can I sit at the table stuffed and, I'm full and someone's starving? That doesn't make sense. And that's why my purpose in the world, I have to, like you said, I have to move it forward. I have to give you guys what I have, and vice versa.
Yes, I love that. And that's something that resonates with me. And we never talked about this, but that's how I live my life. Is like, yo, I'm always thinking about, all right, the least amongst us. Okay. I'm always thinking about, all right, if I got this, how do I create situations where I can teach others how to get whatever it is? And not saying that success, because I hate to even use the term success, but there's certain standards, so to speak, of success. Yeah. Go talk about that.
Success to me is being able to wake up after a bad day. Success to me is able to go to work after I felt disrespected. Success to me is battling those demons. Success to me is being able to say what I'm about and actually be that. So I don't find success in material items. I find success in how those material items reflect back to my mind, because these items, they don't have feelings. They can't make me feel anything. It's all about the energy you put out into the world. So for me, success is a peaceful mind. That's it. If my mind is at peace, I'm successful. I can be in the dirtiest of the dirt. I can be no clothes, no nothing, but I have me and I have love, and that's all I will ever need. Anything else is a bonus. That's why I chill in life rather than I'm chill.
Yo, that's a blessing. That's like, thank you. Thank you. Because, like, just growing up, and we didn't see a lot of materialistic success. Like, I know I didn't anyway. I'll speak for myself. But there are, and I shouted out, people like Miss Rogers, Crystal Rogers, people, my mom, my grandma, those people really inspired me. And they didn't have degrees, they didn't have fancy jobs, they didn't have any of those things, but there were day-to-day things that they did, whether it was making sure we ate, making sure the lights were on, making sure we got the practice that we need to get to. Those are the things that saved our lives, and those are the things that we found, like, yo, that's what we value. So for you just broke that down, Karen. Shout out to Karen. You just broke that down, yo, eloquently. Like, that's real.
It's like, when we speak about, being in a situation where life is bigger than us, and knowing that there's a higher power, The higher power does not care about the letters after my name. They don't care if I'm a CPA, if I'm a doctor, if I have an LLC. How did you treat my child? You know, like if God had came to talk to me, he's going to say, well, how did you treat my children? I created you in love. Are you a loving person?
Yes.
So that's why I make sure, like, when I go, that's the question in my head every day. Are you a loving person? And that's how I live my life, on that love vibration.
I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Tiff just said, peace of mind is everything. And those are the things that give us peace of mind. Like, that's it, right? That, like, those are the things. If it's like, all right, if you could look in the mirror and feel good about being that person, then you straight. Like that, you're straight. So I love that. I love that. And that, that's what even this show is about. That. It's about that. Shout out to Tiara, who's been on watching the show tonight. Because my thing is like, it's like, how do we show that love and get that love reflected into the community?
Absolutely.
One thing that I want to ask, and I'd love to ask the guests, is that if you could go back and give advice to your high school self, what advice would that be? And why?
I would tell myself, stay 10 toes down. It's not on you, it's in you, and they can never take it from you. Wow. And I say that because, we go through trials and tribulations through high school and, after high school and moving forward. But sometimes we fall out of line, sometimes we start to second guess ourselves. And sometimes, when we are attacked, it's like, dang, why they attack me? Like, I gotta argue with another teacher today. I don't feel like So it's like just reminding myself that no matter what people think about me, I was created from love, and that's all that matters. And stay grounded, stay in love, stay protected. That's it.
I love it.
Stay focused. I would tell myself probably be a little bit more focused as well. But like I said, I was very bored, so it was hard for me to be focused in school.
Yo, you blessed us, which I'm not surprised. We got the fasted, Tiara. Like y'all was blessed tonight. Like
going to dinner after that. I have to go to dinner.
How long you been fasting?
I'm on day 4 right now. Day 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yo, we blessed.
And I'm not even hungry, which is funny.
Because what's feeding you. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. And that's the thing. I really run on love. And I know one of the things we spoke about spirituality, like I don't eat meat. I don't eat any dead flesh because I don't want any of that in my body. That's why fruits and I need light energy. So yeah.
Wow. I feel so much more enlightened after this conversation. And I mean that with all sincerity. Real talk. And I stopped using the word proud when it comes to young people that I've had the opportunity to work with in their earlier years. I use the word inspired because that's how I feel. And educators out there, just know that you have young people in your worlds who are on another level. And let your ego go. Okay. Release that ego.
Sometimes you need your ego to remind them who they
talk about that.
Like, for instance, just going into these, like I said, I'm always the youngest person in the room. However, I'm always the most qualified. So I would have to go into environments where I was at a job, and this is not to take away from anyone's job functions or to diminish anything, but she asked me to file for her, and I just looked at her like, you want me to do what? And the manner and the tone that she asked me to do that, it was of disrespect. Like, you're not supposed to come in here with a degree. You're not going to be a young Black girl and work for this company. You're going to start. I hate to say, but I'm not filing. I'm not filing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if I offended. I'm not filing. It's just not gonna happen. And I didn't go to school for that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I spent so many years in school and I'm trying to build my skill and you're trying to disrespect my intelligence and I cannot have that.
And I think that that's important. And we talked a lot. I mentioned earlier about sometimes I hate to use the word dumb ourselves down, but we dumb ourselves down and we placate to make other people feel comfortable.
Never me.
Yes.
Never
And,
me.
and we all listen, but real talk, it's people out there with advanced degrees
Hmm.
that are doing that.
Hmm.
Like, we need this that message you just gave is a message that we need. And forget about degrees,
Right.
even if it's experience, even if it's know-how. Like, there's levels of like, I know what I'm doing. And I think that there's a space for us to talk about that. And I'm glad that I'm really happy that you mentioned that.
You have to really, I'm a person who I know what I want. And when you
Mhm.
do not align with that, it's a disservice with myself. If
Yeah,
I'm telling myself I need this, I need that to move forward, to fall out of line of that is not fair for someone
true,
else. For
true,
someone, I'm gonna disservice myself for someone else to feel better. I
true.
can't do that. So when I'm in these environments, I just always have to know who I am and what I want. And just to give you an example of how this looks like, I remembered um, I was working with an agency and they offered me a salary. And I said,
Mhm.
I said, why would you even email me this when I told you my minimum? And you know what she responded back? She said, I figured, I just thought I would ask.
Because then if you took it,
But you
well,
knew, and
yeah.
that's why I do not compromise myself for anyone. I know my worth, and anything you offer, first of all, anything a job offer me is not enough. Any
Mhm.
if it,
So you going in
I,
off of that right from the
it's
tip.
our exactly, it's not enough because I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of. I'm a very great, and I have great
Yeah.
skill, and I love my work, and I think that you don't really get too many people who actually love what they do. I love accounting. Like I love
Mhm.
my little Excel sheets. I'm like these
Mhm.
formulas. Like I love it. I'm such a geek when it comes to it.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like and that's the thing. It's like I'm never going into a space to take anyone's spot. If I'm applying
Mhm.
for a job, I just love accounting. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm never
That's good.
going anywhere to outshine. If I have a
Yeah.
light, we can shine together.
True. It's
That's it.
enough. It's enough
It's,
space for all of
it's
us. We all
enough.
going to eat. Yes.
Everybody eats.
Yo, I'm glad that you listen. And again, this is an example. I start downplaying ego, and then you bring up like, no, but there's a space for ego too, because like, you're right. You are 100% right. And my wife is good at that. I'm not always good at that. Um, but knowing your space
Mhm.
and knowing your worth is really important.
Yes.
That's important.
And I think that, we kind of work with like a double conscious. It's like we work with who we are and who the world created us to be, Like I'm not defensive, but I may have to put up an armor in this moment. So I feel like once you really know how to discern between, all right, when is my ego speak? When is it time for my ego to speak and when is it time for my soul to speak? And over time I just learned to listen to the best voice in that moment.
Yeah, I love that. That's really really good advice. I learned a lot, because that's something I need to get better at, is knowing worth and not diminishing. Because we talked about taking shorts and taking L's or whatever, but sometimes we do that to ourselves, in those professional spaces. So I like that when you said, yo, when I come in, I already know whatever they're gonna offer is not a like that's love that.
It's because when you think about
I love that.
if you think about the economic gap
Hmm.
between the white America and the black
Hmm.
community, it's too large. And
Yeah.
it's like black people do not have a problem with making money. We have a problem with saving money. So that's what
Mhm.
really motivated me to launch the financial services because I'm like, listen, we need longevity. We
True.
need to understand our money. We need to be able to talk at every conversation. I was
True.
talking to my sister about the politics, the left and the right. And I told her, she was like, I don't really like, sometimes I don't really understand like the Republicans. And I told her, I'm like, when you have that business mind frame and you say free, you're going to trigger people. Because another thing that we fail to realize is that while there are wealthy people who have taken from us, there are some wealthy people who actually work themselves up as well. So it's like you have to really you have to really know what you're saying and who you're targeting. Because, for instance, Joe Smith he's a Republican, but Joe Smith still gives back to the community. So it's about being able to really understand both sides, the left brain and the right brain, how it comes down to. And if we even look at the symbolism in America of our state, I mean our country. Wow, sorry, history teacher. Our country, it's an eagle. You need both wings to fly. We can't pick a side. We need to understand both. I can't pick a party. I need both. I need someone who is financially knowledgeable, and I need someone who's empathetic, and that's me. So it's like, if we're gonna fly, I'm gonna take off with y'all. I'm gonna make sure the ship is sailing, because I have to. I understand both sides.
And I think that we can, especially in this politicized, climate that we're in, it's easy to throw out, as they say, the baby with the bathwater and throw it all out. But there are some values that we need to take account on both sides, and see things for what they are, and take the time. Like, that's what you got into, taking the time to understand the arguments that can be at some points, on different sides of the aisle, as they speak. And the brother Ray Akram just said, that is it. That's bipartisanship. That's it. And that's a struggle for many of us, though. Like, that's real talk. That's a struggle. Shout out to Ray and the 8 Black Hands. Tiara, you definitely need another episode. I'm gonna say that. Word. You need another episode. Like, I just can't believe there was a time when I can believe it. And I'm gonna say this again, and I hate to keep saying it, but I was a principal in a high school. You were a student, and this brilliance was there. And sometimes I think we sometimes look beyond and looking for something different, and it's like right in front of our faces, and it was you, and there were other folks there too, other students there who just had this genius brain and this ability, to navigate socially, academically, and what have you. And I think it's important that educators out there understand that this is not a threat. These are the things that we need to embrace in our young people, and bring it to the forefront. So shout out to you, and shout out to the community and the village that played a part, in supporting you, because they were here tonight. There were a lot of them that were here tonight. Not all of them, but there were a lot that were here tonight in the chat.
My mom wants everyone to know she's here. She just doesn't know how to work Facebook.
Listen, here's what I'm gonna say. All right, I'm gonna put this out there, right? And I don't know if Karen Strong is still out there, right? But some of my heroes in terms of parents, these parents out here, right? The Karen Strongs of the world, TTs of the world, okay? The Ericas of the world, all right? And I can go on and on. We need a show, because when I tell you, a lot of those parents laid it down and advocated for their children, supported their children, while also supporting, in some cases, the school. And when the school needed to be called out, they called the school out. They need a show. And I'm gonna be, I know you saying mom ain't got face, she gonna have to get on something, because she need we need her on somehow. I'm gonna get something together.
I'm so happy you just bring that awareness to them, because I always look at, we got Lucky in here, my mom, you mentioned my aunt Erica in here, and they are just some of the most powerful one that I've ever met.
Yes.
And the way that they just maneuver, like sometimes I look at my mom, I'm like, how you raised 4 kids? Like, how did you
How'd you do it?
how did you do it? I'm like, I can't, I would never be able to like emulate that strength because I'm 4.
Yeah.
And you had me, like I was piece of work.
And not just but then not only just like I just had y'all, but like yo,
I made you
like,
great.
Everything happened. Yeah.
I told my mom every day, I'm like, how does it feel to know that you birthed pure magnificence? Like how do you feel?
That's that's the whole wave. And that's why I'm like, we got to make that happen. And you mentioned Lucky. It's funny because I started a book club, and as soon as I started it, Lucky was in my inbox like, yo, we're going to get this person. We're going to get that person. Because that is, but it's like, that's what we kind of came up with. It was like everybody felt they had to get behind something to make it happen and to make it live. So when you say that, it's like, yo, that's the spirit. When you talk about Earth is Ghetto, that's the spirit that we come from, of like, all right, how we going to make this float? Right. Like, we going to make, like, this person's not going to fail. And that's the energy, that I just feel good about. And, and that you definitely exhibit. And then the folks whose shoulders you're standing on exhibit. So
I know that's an army behind me.
Yes. And then listen, and that's what she just put. We standing on the shoulders. I just said that, but that's what we're doing. Like, we standing on the shoulders, yo. We're real. Oh my God, we got the Nickens in. Yo, I'm about to have a whole Grant Court reunion. Hold on. Miss Cat is in here. Well, like, yo, shout out.
Auntie.
Oh my God. Yo. And I don't even feel comfortable saying Cat Nickens, but yo, I can't say Sister Nickens because that was the other one. But like, yo, Cat, they used to load us up. We were at Bible school, revivals. It was all about teaching us. It was all about developing youth. And, like, going back to those days, that's what it was about. Brother Nickens, like, these are some of the mentors that brought us up as young people. And the things that I'm trying to do is only trying to emulate and do the same things that they did in our community. Absolutely. And so if somebody asks me what inspires me, it is the Brother Nickens of the world. It is the Sister Nickens of the world. It is the Cats. It's like the Miss Lils, Miss Oni. Like, those are the people that when we came up, Miss George, like, and I'm saying names now, Tiara's like, who? Like, you may even like, but real talk, those are the ones, and Tiara, you know what time it is. Lucky, you know what time it is. Those are the ones. So I'm just happy.
And it's so important that we speak on those who inspire us and guide us and ultimately lead us to greatness, because I feel like there is so much pressure to overachieve in the Black community. Like, I have to be like a Malcolm X to get the respect. We have to do these, over accomplished things. Like, I need to be an Oprah to get, but what I want to show my community and the world is like, your heroes are very tangible. They're right next to you. You don't have to turn on your phone. You don't have to look on the screen. You can look. I'm right here. You know what I mean? Tiara is in the community. Jasenia is in the community. We have hometown heroes in our face. We don't have to look outside anywhere. And that's why I always will come back to everything I need is always right here. Always.
I love that. And I like that we can end on that. Is like those ordinary heroes. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be on TV, because the folks that I just mentioned, and I think obviously, my own parents, my own grandparents, those were the ones, and Tara just put in my grandma, Miss Pauline. Yes. Those are the ones that we looked up to, and I agree. Sometimes we look too far into these stars and we're trying to find things that are right in front of this. It's right in our face. Like, it's right in front of us. So definitely a shout out, to you. And I appreciate, you coming on to the show.
course.
You've definitely been a blessing. Like it's been I want to get this, yo. I want to get this corrected though. So we got Earth is it Earth is Ghetto? Did I do it wrong?
Earthisghetto.co. Someone took .com.
Okay.
I'm very upset about.
Okay, let me put that. Oh, somebody took it?
Yeah. Like it's some weird page. I'm like, really? It's not even being utilized. So it's earthisghetto.co. Yes.
Okay, so there we go. So it's earthisghetto.co. All right.
And until the 8th, I actually have buy one hoodie, get a beanie for free. So ends on the 8th, guys. Yeah.
I got on the 8th of February. All right. Yeah. I'm on that. I'm on that because I want a beanie definitely, and I know my daughter Layla wants a hoodie, so we definitely gonna get on that. We're gonna have to find a way. We may have to get two because she gonna want the beanie too. I know it. So yo, shout out to you, Tiara. You blessed us tonight. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well.
No doubt. No doubt. So to the Purpose in Practice family, it's been another great night. We're only 2 episodes deep this season, and we already started with like straight fire. Check out Earth is Ghetto. Yo, get the clothing. You also can get some financial services, and I'm going to drop them all in the show notes. So you'll have.
Season, I'm out here, guys.
Tax season, yo. Is it so for tax season? What they're going to hit the Imperial? Is this what they're going to hit right here?
Yeah, they'll hit
financial.
Yes, they'll hit the Imperial, and I will be working at Jackson Hewitt and Oakhurst and Neptune, so you can come see me at those headquarters.
Okay, word, because it's definitely tax time. So, yo, get your
Catch
taxes
fraud, not fillings, guys. Accounting 101.
Yo, so we about to bounce. It's been we did 90 minutes tonight, and it didn't even feel like that. Real talk, it did not. It didn't even feel like that. We'll be back next week. We got another episode for y'all. And thank y'all all for joining in tonight. And thank you to our guests. Yo, I'm very, I'm so inspired. And we will see y'all next week. And with that said, we're going to go out to the intro and outro of Mr. Encore and my brother Anthony Stevenson. Check them out if you need some work in production and video. So peace out, and we'll stay ghetto. Word, get those crowns up. Yo, get this merchandise. It's hot.
Valentine's Day color. Love the pink one.
I love it. I know that's the one my daughter gonna want. So peace out, yo. It's been real.
Of course.
Peace.
It's a non-core banger. Dr. Ross dropping knowledge to the masses. Make you now tuned in to Purpose and Practice. Purpose and practice. Keep your mental sharp. Learn all the tactics. Dr. Ross dropping knowledge to the masses. Make you now tuned in to Purpose and Practice. Purpose and Practice. Podcast game. He got it mastered. It's encore.